been here with an NXT UK review. It's been forever since I've done a review on this channel, and a weird episode of NXT UK to start doing weekly reviews on, because it's not the biggest banger of episode. Maybe last week's the Meiko Satomura match would have been better, a fantastic match, but this was still a really fun episode. I think NXT UK is my favourite piece of weekly wrestling. It is, maybe because I am British, so it's kind of my style that I like. But let's jump into the review. It was a very fun week's episode. I mean, as someone who used to dip in and out of NXT UK, I kind of had to catch up on a couple of the beats. But I'm excited to keep on watching these and keep on doing weekly reviews, so I hope you guys enjoy them. So let's just jump right into it. We're kicking off with the Heritage Cup rules match with Tyler Bate versus Bomber Dave Mastiff. I mean, I'm going to break it down round by round. Obviously, Heritage Cup rules, 6 rounds, 3 minutes each, 2 pinfalls in the 6 rounds, you win. If you don't get 2 falls in 6 rounds, it goes to sudden death. So let's go off. The first round of the match was kind of just a lot of like them getting into it, kind of what you see in a regular match, like 3 minutes of good technical wrestling. No one really got too much of an upper hand there, so it was fun. I mean, yeah, this round was mostly technical, mat-based, wrist locks, very British style wrestling. To me, I'm always wowed watching any NXT UK match. It's all very technical. I'll get into it later on in the episode. Round 2, Mastiff is really working over Tyler Bates' arm. I mean, I guess not only is the idea that Mastiff is so big and heavy, it'd be hard for Tyler. If you take out his arms, it takes out some of his strength. But Tyler manages to get a roll-up pin. He goes to do a sunset flip off the second rope, gets Mastiff over, he struggles and gets Mastiff over, gets him rolled up for a 3 count. Really great, a good way of getting a pinfall for a smaller guy and a larger opponent. Round 2, you got Tyler trying to go for it early. He's trying to use his power moves. He gets Mastiff up for the airplane. Mastiff then reverses it really smoothly, but it was really fast. I'm like, oh shit, did Tyler... the angle they showed makes it look like Tyler hit his head, but I'm pretty sure he probably tapped. I'm always very wary about wrestlers' heads. I'm scared they're going to hurt themselves. He gets a crucifix pin on Tyler for 3. So great round there. I mean, it showed off some of Mastiff's agility and also some of Tyler's hubris with his strength, although he's kind of meant to be this Taoist guy who's meant to be over his hubris, but it kind of was seeping in round 3. Round 4, Mastiff just wrecks Tyler. I mean, I got some notes here, Mastiff goes in with body slams, he goes in with Beals, he hits him with like a power bomb. I don't remember what Nigel called it. I think he called it a kamikaze smash. It was brutal. And then they go on the outside, and Mastiff bullies Tyler outside, throwing him into the ring, into the railings. It looks like they use the metal railings. Back and forth, just wrecking Tyler's back. Again, showing it's going to hurt and Tyler's ability to lift Mastiff, because Tyler's a big, strong boy. God, I can't believe he's younger than me. Yeah, and then Tyler's on the outside of the ring. Mastiff's trying to go for that count-out point, but Tyler gets in at 3.5, obviously for the drama. And then Mastiff is just continuously trying to pin Tyler, and then it gets to a 2 count, and Tyler just kicks out, and then the timer goes off for round 4. So Mastiff isn't able to pick up the victory. And then we move on to round 5. Again, Mastiff starts off strong. Tyler can barely stand because his back's been destroyed. And then basically Mastiff is going for, at least a while ago, his finisher was the cannonball in the corner. So he's running for the cannonball. Tyler gets up and he does his flip over kick. He flips and kicks Mastiff in the head. It's beautiful to watch whenever he does it. That staggers Mastiff. Tyler gets up. hits a big clothesline, and then gets Mastiff. Oh, I forgot. To get Tyler into that corner, Mastiff hits a massive release German suplex. I love release German suplexes. But yeah, anyway, Tyler gets him up. He managed to get Mastiff up for the airplane, which is amazing because obviously the entire match, Mastiff has been taking out a lot of Tyler's strength. So he manages to get him up and does the airplane, and then airplane spin. Oh, airplane spin. Then he hits him with a massive clothesline, and then Tyler gets to the top rope and hits a corkscrew senton, which looks beautiful. Can't believe one of the wrestlers can pull off moves like that, but it was a beautiful corkscrew senton, and then he gets the 3 count. It's like at 3.5 Mastiff kicks out. But again, it shows Tyler's like making his comeback, obviously after his loss to a kid, and then Noam Dar kind of jamming and drawing at him, but it's kind of showing he's getting his build back, and we see Tyler Bate later on in the episode, which we'll get to. After this, you get to see a video package / interview of Mandrews and Flash Morgan Webster versus Amir Jordan and Kenny Williams. It kind of touches on Kenny Williams being a little bit heelish, and then Mandrews and Flash Morgan Webster being like, we're the best tag team in NXT UK, although they're not champions, obviously. And that's setting up for their match later on today in the episode. And then there is a vignette for Aoife Valkyrie. It is beautifully done. I'm hyped. Like, again, someone who was dipping in and out of NXT UK. First time of me seeing the vignette, looked great. So I'm really excited. And then there's like what I thought was going to be a squash match, because it was Danny Jones versus the debuting Tioman, so Lucky Kid from Germany. Danny Jones got the jobber entrance, so I was like, oh, he's going to get squashed. But this match went a good few minutes. It wasn't too long, and Tioman was in control for most of this match. And he was like, obviously very heelish throughout. But Danny Jones got a good few licks in. He hit a backstabber at one point. He got some good forearms in. But whenever Danny Jones was starting to get on a roll, Tioman would basically just not cheat, but be kind of dirty with some of his moves. So he'd like get his leg over the rope, and then kind of as Danny Jones was releasing the hold, he'd elbow him, or he did this amazing like hit the rope, running in, and drop kick into Danny Jones's leg. Again, not cheating, but kind of not a move you'd see a face do. So I really enjoyed that. Match ended with Tioman goes to the top rope, hits a diving missile drop kick into Danny Jones's back. Then he like just viciously like double stomps on Danny Jones's back, I think twice, maybe 3 times. Then he puts him in the crossface, and Danny Jones taps really quickly. I'm always a bit like, ugh, crossface. As a finisher, gotta harken back to someone, but obviously, you know, it was a compelling debut, and it's like, oh, okay, this guy's a good heel. It'd be interesting to see where he goes. Obviously, the Heritage Cup is kind of like the Intercontinental title, so the kind of you're not like heavyweight champion, you're not going for the NXT UK championship, but you're kind of going for this middle ground, and then you've got the cruiserweight stuff on the side, which the cruiserweight stuff at the moment is amazing, because we'll move on swiftly. Actually, it's not yet, but up next you see kind of like I'm not sure if it's a vignette, but like earlier this week, obviously you see Zaya Williams and Nina Samuels. Zaya Williams, yeah. I think it's Zaya Lee. No, Zaya Lee. I'm getting confused. You know, Zaya and Nina Samuels. Nina Samuels is her personal assistant, and it's just like a little funny vignette, almost video package, I'll go with, of like It's like, oh, I've made all this mess. Nina, clean it up. And then Nina Samuels is like cleaning up her room and doing her dishes. And then she realizes, oh, there's a dishwasher, so I don't have to do these dirty dishes. And also, she just kind of puts the dishes on the side. Like, she's not put it on like a dish strainer. So it's kind of like the water's just going to pool there. It's not really going to, but I digress. And then there's like this really well done video package / vignette. Obviously, again, I've been dipping in and out of NXT UK, so I didn't really have the full context, but it was Eddie Dennis and Wild Boar, obviously in the street fight. Wild Boar kind of stepped out and Eddie Dennis and Primate got wrecked by Flash Morgan Webster and Mandrews. So it's kind of like Eddie Dennis is like, you turned your back on us. Very like, gave me shades of Kane / what was the stable Killian Dane was in? Big Dame. I can't remember what stable he was in with the guy who's now in Impact. Oh my god, I've forgotten. But Eric Young's stable. I don't remember. But yeah, that was it. Kind of disruption. I don't remember. Sanity's it's like a Sanity promo. Like very like grungy. There was fire. I mean, Nigel referenced it later. And then my second favorite promo vignette was Gallus in a pub. Well, like a snooker bar. It's like, we've got to show everyone what Gallus really is. It's really well shot. Not like the long shot kind of was a bit far, could have been further in, but like very cinematic. Like whoever does the vignettes for NXT UK is a good filmmaker. But yeah, then we move on to a tag team match. I love tag team wrestling. Tag team wrestling is my favorite wrestling. Obviously, Kenny Williams and Amir Jordan versus Mandrews and Flash Morgan Webster. The story of this match was essentially Kenny Williams getting frustrated with Amir Jordan and Amir Jordan not wanting to be a heel. Flash Morgan Webster and Mandrews are great as always. Like, I'm kind of in two minds when it comes to my tag team wrestling. Either like old school tag team wrestling, kind of what FTR do now, and also I love stuff like what Kenny Williams and Amir Jordan does, like junior heavyweight type tag team wrestling. I'm kind of in two minds of which one I like more, but they're obviously great. I love their gear, especially Flash Morgan Webster's. His jacket and trousers, beautiful. But yeah, so Flash Morgan Webster, Flash Morgan Webster and Kenny Williams start the match. Very technical, back and forth. Amir Jordan comes in after getting the tag. And kind of throughout this match, Amir Jordan loses any advantage he and Kenny build. So Kenny will will tag in. He'll go hard on Flash and Mandrews. He's like very aggressive. Then he tags Amir Jordan in, and then he just doesn't. He loses that aggressive advantage Kenny got, and like you can see Kenny getting frustrated when he's on the rope. He's like, he just wants to tag in because he's like, I'm going to be aggressive. I want to mess these guys up. And this kind of plays in later on into the match. So later on, Flash Morgan Webster and Kenny Williams are in the match. Kenny he's in a headlock with Flash. He kind of pushes him into Amir Jordan. It's kind of played that Amir doesn't realize this. This is also after Mandrews has gone on a run, like doing I think he did a moonsault to the outside. Beautiful. Well, from the apron. It was beautiful. But then Kenny Williams is going for the tag. He's like, oh, I'm hurting. I need to get a tag in. And then you've got no partner there. And then Flash Morgan Webster and Mandrews are really, really taking it to Kenny. But Kenny managed to kick out with some help from Amir Jordan. I think they take out Mandrews, so then it's just Flash Morgan Webster and Flash Morgan Webster and Kenny Williams in the match with Amir Jordan on the ringside. I think Webster's got his arms around Kenny Williams' waist in the back. So Kenny Williams is like, he's trying to escape. He walks into the ref. Whilst his mouth is bleeding, Kenny Williams' mouth always like seems to bleed. Like the ref is distracted. He's like, "Don't touch me," and then he hits Flash Morgan Webster with a low blow. Amir Jordan said like, "What are you doing? I didn't want you to do this. We're not meant to be heels." Kenny's like in his head, "No, we are gonna be heels." Then I don't know what it's called. But it's kind of like a forward face plant, kind of like Jon Moxley's old finisher in the WWE, but more aggressive. Hits that, gets 3. Kenny Williams doesn't celebrate. He's just kind of like, "We won." Amir Jordan's like, "I didn't want to win like that." I'm like, "We won." Like the ref raises their hands, like he puts his hand up and says, "Yeah, I won, but I didn't want to win like this," and he's arguing with Kenny Williams as they go into the back. So my feeling is either they're both gonna turn heel, so like Kenny Williams is gonna keep doing this until Amir Jordan is like, "You know what, no, this does work," and then maybe they'll pick up those titles, or it's just gonna lead to maybe they'll get a title shot, Amir Jordan will eat the pin, and then Kenny Williams will turn on him. I think that'll probably be the way they go with it. Kind of depends what they want to do with the tag team division, because they've got quite a few tag teams there. So we'll have to see. Up next, there's like a video package on Ilya Dragunov. You know, he's kind of gone to this, I call it the Kota Ibushi state, where he kind of goes nuts and just wrecks everyone, tries to attack a ref, etc. So then it's like, he'll speak next week. And then, I mean, I'm going to just skip over the Trenty one, because it's like, then Walter has one where he's like, "Walter will speak next week." I'm like, okay, sure. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed a promo. There were so many vignettes and promos here. There was an Amel promo, where the French lady, who, it was very French inspired. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the women's division. They need someone to like take the belt, not now to take the belt off Kaylee Ray, but they need to build someone. Like, I thought Meiko Satomura would be the person they'd build to do that, but I know Meiko's there as more of a trainer, and they're going to use her sometimes as a wrestler. So I'm not exactly sure who they're going to build to take that belt off Kaylee Ray. They're kind of building Amel. Sorry if I'm saying it wrong. They're kind of building her as a heel. At least I can get from that promo. Or it might just be because she's French. You know, if she's French by default, she's a heel, I think. Especially if there were crowds, she would be booed for being French. But anyway, going back to it, the Trenty promo. Love the Trent vignettes and promos. Like, even though, again, watching In and Out, I've always been watching these Trenty ones of Trent trying to get down to 205. And it's amazing because the way they're playing it, it's like, yeah, Trent's definitely going to hit 205. And in my head, the story should be he's doing all this training, but he doesn't hit 205. Like, he's like 220, but he still gets the match with Jordan Devlin. In my head, I'm like, that's a good story. That's like funny and entertaining. Like, if you want to go funny, he's put on weight, but he's like gotten jacked, like he's muscle weight. Or it's like a little bit like, oh, I almost got to 205. Because Trent's like a tall and a big, like he's like broad and tall. Like, that's kind of his thing for me. I mean, if he gets to 205, it'll be interesting if they somehow get him to 205. But I think it would be cool if he's like 210, 215, maybe 220 something probably. Yeah, then they're like, ha. But then Devlin will still have the match with him. I don't know how they would kind of swing getting the cruiserweight title on him, but we'll see. But yeah, and then between that and the Walter promo, there was a I think his name was Nathan Fraser. the like American British kid who was playing football in the US and is here as a cruiserweight. Again, not really been watching NXT UK, just been keeping up with the results. I'm pretty sure he had a match with Jordan Devlin where he like was spectacular. So interesting. A lot of video packages. It feels like they're really ramping up to like, obviously here in the UK, the hope is by June 20th will be opened up. So June 20th, and I checked, they look like they're scheduled to do a show in Ireland on June 21st is the schedule at the moment. I don't know if that's got to go ahead. Depends on the Irish government, I suppose. But who knows? Maybe I'll try and swing going there, seeing what COVID's like in Ireland. I probably won't though. But anyway, we'll move on to the main event, which was the first ever mixed tag match or intergender tag match in NXT UK. Ginny and Joseph Connors versus Piper Niven, Viper, and Jack Stars. To start this off, I absolutely love Joseph Connor and Ginny's trash talk in the ring. I remember Joseph Connors when NXT UK first started. He was kind of like there. He was like losing wrestler for a big part. But like him and Ginny have great chemistry. Like he's great at trash talking. Ginny obviously has always been great at trash talking. So like they're very kind of scummy in this match. Like Piper Niven and Ginny are meant to start. Piper Niven wants to get her hands on Ginny, and Ginny's like, "Are you thick? Are you thick?" And just tags in Joseph Connors, and Joseph Connors being a right old dickhead, and he's like, "Get out the ring, get out. We can't fight. Get Jack Stars in." And kind of throughout this match, it's basically Joseph Connors trying to stop Jack Stars getting a tag to Piper Niven to like keep her and Ginny away from one another. Obviously, for the most part he succeeds, but I think on two or three occasions, Ginny and Piper Niven face off. When they're facing off, it's mostly Piper Niven in control, with Ginny kind of getting some shots in, being a little bit heelish. But for the most part, it's Joseph Connors and Jack Stars, which is kind of the thing you kind of makes sense because you want to keep the Ginny and Piper Niven thing for a big blow off. So there's a cool spot where like Jack Stars is leapfrogging over Joseph Connors. Joseph Connor goes down. Jack Star goes for a body press. He misses, rolls outside. He misses. Connors like kind of does a sliding bulldog. So Jack Stars. Oh, this might be in the wrong part, but no. He does the sliding bulldog. So Jack Stars is draping over the apron, and Ginny does like a cartwheel kick to his head. Super cool, very heelish. I think later is the thing where Jack Stars misses the crossbody, rolls to the outside of the ring. Ginny's going to attack her, and then Piper Niven comes to intervene and square off, and then Joseph Connors just like gets in the middle. And he's just been a right dickhead about it. It's like I kind of like this Joseph Connors. So they're back in the ring. I think Piper Niven, somehow Ginny gets into the match. Her and Piper are fighting. Then Joseph Connor tags himself in. He's kind of drawing at Piper Niven. Jack Star comes in, takes out Joseph Connors. Ginny comes in. Piper Niven gets her in one corner. Jack Star gets Joseph Connors in the other corner. They do dual cannonballs into each of them, and then Ginny kind of rolls out the ring. Then Jack Star throws Joseph Connors into Piper Niven, who hits a Piper driver. I'm pretty sure it's a Michinoku driver, but I'm not 100% on that. And then for the finish, she gets Jack Stars on her shoulders and kind of like press slams him onto Joseph Connors and gets the 3. It's a great end, and kind of obviously because Piper Niven and Ginny are the main part of this feud, it kind of like puts the shine on Piper Niven whilst getting Jack Starr's win in his book. Nigel is upset. He's like, that's cheating, that's against the rules. Piper put her hands on Joseph Connors. And it's like, she like Michinoku drafted that dude. It was sick. So it was a fun main event. It went a few minutes over. I watched it on the network. I don't know what it was like on BT Sports. Maybe BT Sports had the overrun. I don't know, maybe, because I know I'm pretty sure NXT UK is filmed in advance, so maybe they cut some stuff, maybe a couple of the promos, or maybe I doubt they'd cut Tioman's debut, Lucky Kid's debut, but I'm pretty sure they'd probably cut maybe a couple of those promos. But it was great fun. It went like 7 minutes over the hour, but still like an hour of fun wrestling. We're back with another NXT UK review, March 18th, 2021. Just to go right into it, the main event of this match was a beauty. Highlight, great match. NXT UK main events are always great matches, but this one in particular, chef's kiss. So let's go straight into it. We kick off with a recap of The Bump, where they were doing kind of like a fancied up recap of The Bump, where they were doing Trent Seven's weigh-in. Jordan Devlin coming in at 195 pounds, or well under the 205 weight limit. Trent Seven coming in, getting on those scales, 204.25 pounds. Trent Seven gets his title match tonight, the episode that just finished 10 minutes ago. Let's go. Great match. To kick off the actual show, we've got Ashton Smith, powerhouse kind of. He was doing a lot of tag team wrestling, the Whoop guy, versus Nathan Frazier / Ben Carter. They're really pushing Nathan Frazier. I guess I don't know which title you'd have him go for, except the Cruiserweight title, but you don't know what's going to happen with the Cruiserweight title, because I'm pretty sure Jordan Devlin turned up on NXT, so like it was inevitable he would win this main event, but you know, we move. I don't know what they're going to do with Nathan Frazier going forward. It's kind of weird. We'll have to see what happens post-COVID. But yeah, this match was kind of Nathan Frazier trying to use his speed to overpower Ashton Smith's power, and to be honest, this match was a lot more competitive than I thought it would be. I mean, when you're trying to showcase a brand new talent, you'd have them go over in fairly convincing fashion. To be honest, he had to fight a lot against Ashton Smith, which is good. I mean, I think if you're trying to build both guys and you're trying to do a slow burn with Nathan Frazier, this is good because it kind of paints Ashton Smith pretty well. Better than if you had Nathan Frazier going over convincingly, especially because he's new, he's young, he's smaller than Ashton Smith. But yeah, so the majority of this match was Smith trying to overpower Frazier. There were some cool highlights. I mean, Smith tries to keep Frazier grounded. I think the highlight was the finish. So it's hard to. So Smith goes for a Irish whip. It's reversed. He's thrown to the corner. Frazier hits him with a cannon drop kick into the corner. Then Frazier does a springboard coast to coast, which the camera angle they used was behind Smith, and then they showed a highlight of it from Frazier's point of view. I'm not sure if it connected. It looked like it hit the leg. It's kind of weird, the camera angles they used. I wish they'd used a front on one, but I mean, you know, I'm not the one in the editing booth. And then Frazier goes for a senton, but misses. So he doesn't get the win. Then Smith, I think, is going for a kind of like a Blue Thunder bomb. He gets two, and then Frazier kind of reverses, gets out of it, and then he kind of gets up, does a moonsault off the rope, gets Smith down, then goes for a frog splash for the win. I kind of felt that the senton after the coast to coast would have been more effective, but I mean, maybe I'm just wrong, but I feel like that coast to coast was so memorable, like having the finish just off the coast to coast would have been great. But anyway, it was still a good match and it was a good showcase for both of these competitors, and I quite like that they didn't bury Ashton Smith. Moving on, we go to Ilya Dragunov, who was meant to talk and be like, hey, yo, what's up? I'm Ilya Dragunov. He says, I'm sorry for my behavior, and then Gradwell comes in. He has some funny lines. He's like, I can take you again. I've got them written down here. He says, I can beat you in a custody papers on a pole match, which is hilarious. And then a ruble, I think it was a ruble in the bank ladder match, which also was like, that's hilarious. It's kind of going back to his Soviet baby jokes. And then he's like, oh, I can beat you in any match, singles match, tag match or something. Then he says no disqualification. I'm pretty sure he says no disqualification. And then Ilya says, yeah, I'll fight you face in a no disqualification match. I'm pretty sure I couldn't really make out what they were saying at that point, but later on in the episode they reveal that they're going to have a no DQ match next week. Pretty sure Ilya's going to snap and beat the heck out of Gradwell, which is going to be awesome. I don't know what they're going to do, because we go into Walter later on in the night. So I'm thinking they're going to have Dragunov against Walter again and get Dragunov to win that title when he snaps, but they're going to have some time to that. We'll get to the Walter thing later, and I'll tell you why there's going to be time between that. Up next is an Isla Dawn vignette. Very occult, I think is the word. There's tarot cards and stuff. I actually wasn't watching when Isla Dawn debuted, but I know she had like a witch type, like a Wiccan type gimmick, so I guess they're going to go back to that, I believe. And then we have a cute little like self-shot promo from Johnny Saint from his home, and he's just revealing that then we had a little video package for NXT UK's like almost like a like what NXT are doing. They're having like beefed up shows of what AEW are doing. They're not pay-per-views because they're usually on a Sunday, but they're having like a beefed up show. It's not a takeover. It's called NXT UK Prelude, which I assume is a prelude to a takeover at some point on April 8th. So the second night of NXT UK Stand and NXT's is it Stand and Deliver? I don't know. The same night as that, I guess, because it's night time here in the UK and afternoon in the US, and I'm probably only going to watch Prelude, but it's going to be like a jam-packed show. The matches they're probably going to announce, it's probably going to be a 2-hour show, maybe. But anyway, I digress, because Johnny Saint reveals that Noam Dar will have a Heritage Cup rules match against Tyler Bate at NXT UK Prelude for a #1 contendership for the Heritage Cup from a kid. I'm thinking Tyler's going to go over and then he'll go on to face a kid and get the Heritage Cup, but I don't know. But that'll be, I quite like the Heritage Cup matches. Like, it's just a different spin on wrestling. After that, we have a Danny Luna from Camden. I go to Camden quite often when I go to London. Versus Meiko Satomura. I don't know why that was a thing I brought up. So this match was basically Dani Luna trying to use her strength advantage and Meiko Satomura using her experience advantage, which it was a good match. For the most part, Meiko Satomura dominated, but there were some really great spots from Dani Luna. In particular, I think one of a really cool spot was Meiko went to the top rope, was taking her time. I think the ref was distracting her kind of. Dani Luna gets up, kicks in the face, so Meiko's on the apron, and Dani Luna she stands on the bottom rope, and Nigel sold it really well. I think it was Nigel sold it really well. She powers up Meiko for a suplex, and suplexes on the rope always look amazing, and this looked really good, but it kind of hurt both of them. Again, showing that Dani Luna was using her strength. She was winning a lot of the battle of strength things, and then Meiko Satomura was using her experience to counter and reverse. And the end of the match was Meiko. So Dani Luna's kind of got Meiko on a hold. Meiko Satomura gets out, hits her with a bicycle kick to the head, then a buzz kick, bicycle kick, gets up, Danny's on her knees, buzz kick to the head, and then Mako hits her with a Scorpio Rising. Beautiful, kind of like, she like steps off, it looks like she steps up off her opponent and hits an axe kick to the back of the head for 3. Beautiful, really good showing from Dani Luna as well. It'd be interesting to see her doing more for NXT UK. Again, obviously I've not been watching as much, I'm not sure if she's been on before. And yeah, and then a great show of respect at the end from both of them. I mean, I really love that Mako's come in and she's putting over these talents. I know she's there as like a coach, like a player manager, player coach. So she's there putting, like, she'll win matches, but she'll put over her opponents, which is kind of what you want the big veteran you have to do. And then occasionally will lose a match and put over someone, like she put over Kaylee Ray. But yeah, we move on to this, like, I love the way they shoot these, like with a backdrop of a neon light of the logo, Ginny and Joseph Connor, and they're like, oh, last week's loss doesn't count because they were pushing what Nigel was saying, it was illegal that Piper hit Joseph Connors with a Piper driver, and it was just funny. Like, I loved their chemistry together. And then Joseph Connor was like, your 15 minutes of fame are over, I'm gonna take you on one-on-one Jack Star. Probably gonna happen next week, but there wasn't like a card to show that, so I'm not too sure. Up next, we've got Walter coming out. My boy Walter. He's like, I am the longest reigning champion in NXT UK. I mean, I think there's only been 3 champions, so that's not hard. And also because of the pandemic, but we move. I mean, to be honest, I kind of want him to like have a Bruno reign and have several thousand days for this one reign. Like, give him the belt for like 5 years. And just have people try and fight him, and then they don't win, and then some, like a Nathan Fraser in 5 years' time beats Walter for the title. Be beautiful. Give him that Bruno reign. But yeah, he comes out saying he's beaten everyone, and he's like, Johnny saying, look over the world, find me an opponent. And then Rampage Brown comes out. He's like, Johnny Saint doesn't have to look all over the world. He's right in the backyard. I'll face you. And then this next part, I don't know how to feel. They're having a stare down. Walter's walking away. Brown grabs him by the arm, pulls him in. Walter's like, what are you doing? Probably in like German. And then Rampage Brown, like, they like grab each other by like the scruff or the neck. I think Rampage Brown gets his hands on Walter's neck and Walter's got him by the scruff. But Rampage Brown pushes Walter down to the ground, and he's like standing over him being like, yeah, you're gonna be at the ground, I'm gonna take your title. And like, the visual of Walter, this dominant champion for so long, just like being towered over by Rampage Brown, I don't know if I like that. I'm kind of in the mindset when you've got a champion who's been so dominant, and I don't think he's going to drop the belt because they're going to have their match at Prelude in 3 weeks. I don't like seeing your champion, especially a big heel champion. It's kind of weird to call Walter a heel because he's so over, but he's technically a heel. I don't know how I feel about having for me it didn't sit right, but I mean, it made Rampage Brown look really strong. So I mean, if you're trying to quickly build Rampage to be the competitor, then yeah, it works in that aspect, I suppose. I just don't like seeing Walter on the ground. Next is Xia Li, Nina. I keep on saying Xia Li. It's Xia Williams, isn't it? Anyway, and Nina Samuels promo, kind of like backstage vignette thing. I felt like this wasn't as strong as last week's. I think last week's one was shorter and snappier, so it was kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, because it's a little bit like cringe comedy, a bit, and I'm not the biggest fan of that kind of comedy, but it was just Xia just ordering Nina around the gym, going to take her for weights, etc., getting her water, getting her chalk. And then Nina kind of like back chats, and then so like kicks over the chalk bucket, and it's like clean that up and make sure you get a workout in. I felt last week's one was more fun, like the editing and stuff was a little bit more haha, and it's like, oh, she could have put all her washing in the dishwasher, and sort of, I felt like this one maybe overstayed its welcome a couple of minutes. But I mean, it keeps building their story together. Then there's a very quick Amir Jordan and Kenny Williams promo where Kenny Williams is like, I got us tag title opportunity in 2 weeks' time, and Amir's like, oh, that's amazing, but we can't cheat. And it's like, no, we won't cheat. They will try and cheat. The highlight of this for me was Amir Jordan was rocking a Gangrel shirt, and that's amazing. More Gangrel stuff in WWE, please. I want a Gangrel reference every single week in WWE, and at least one piece of their programming. Gangrel reference, let's go. Yeah, and then it's kind of the announcement of the Rampage and Walter match next week, and then we move on to the absolutely killer main event. The main event, which I got 3 pages worth of notes on. I don't think anything I've written down can do this match the justice it deserves. Go and watch this match. It is fantastic. It was about 20 minutes. It kind of overran, maybe, I'm looking at the time, 5 minutes past 9, at least on the network it overran. I don't know what it was like on BT Sports. But it started at 22, finished at 5 past, a 25-minute match. Really, really great. Okay, I'm just going to go into it. I'm going to read off my notes, basically, try and summarize as best as I can. But again, just watch this match. So Trent Seven starts off fast, and they're making a point of his, he usually starts off slow, but he's coming fast, he's dropped the weight. He really takes it to Jordan Devlin, big chops, takes him to the outside. They're fighting on the outside, Devlin fights back. Trent gets back on him, hits his head on the ring ropes. They go back inside, they go back out, fight some more. Trent rolls out. Devlin tries to spring over the rope, misses. Trent hits him with a beautiful snapdragon on the outside, which builds into the story of the match going forward, because Devlin's selling his shoulder for his neck and shoulder for the rest of the match. And they get back in. Trent gets Devlin in the corner, hits him with a bunch of chops. Devlin gets one in. Trent puts him back in. A big chop, loud, amazing. Then Seven goes for a slam and the leg drop, which, brother, should have been a 3 count, brother. Leg drop, 1, 2, 3, brother. But we move. I'm sorry, but we should start booking the leg drop as a 3 count once again. Okay. Yeah, and God, then it kind of starts to get more hard hitting from that point. Devlin hits a beautiful Uranagi. I think, basically an Uranagi on Trent Seven, and then hits a standing moonsault for 2. But he's selling his neck afterwards. He gets on his knees, painful. Devlin starts working over Trent Seven's back, which basically plays into the rest of the finish of the match from here on out. He kind of gets Seven in the corner and stretches him against the ring rope, which I guess, doing the physics, the way you stretch them, it probably isn't going to hurt as much as they sell. Maybe, I don't know. Devlin gets back in the ring, continues to work over Trent Seven's back, and then they start chopping each other. And then Seven comes back with the choppy boys, but Devlin counters again. Then Devlin does a slam and then a leg drop as well. Again, leg drop should be a 3 count straight away. We move. Devlin's going for the 4-leaf clover, but Trent managed to power out of it. Gets a series of chops. Devlin tries to duck one. Trent gets him in a DDT, spikes him. Wow. Trent gets him up and hits an Emerald Flosion, which was hits an Emerald Flosion and gets a 2 count. And then Seven gets Devlin outside and goes for a suicide dive. And like, the camera work was beautiful. So he hits the suicide dive, and Devlin is like laid out on the barricade, and just close up with the camera over the barricade on Devlin. Again, the production work on NXT UK is really good. And then Trent Seven tries to go to the top rope, and he goes for like a twisting senton, is the best way I can describe it. Like, it's not a flip, but it's like but he misses because he takes too long to get up. And then this is like when the start of the end starts building, where they start hitting big moves on each other. So basically, Devlin gets Trent Seven in a 4-leaf clover, and he has him in it for a good like minute, maybe 2. And Trent's like clawing, he's trying to grab the ring rope, but he just can't quite get there. But then he just about gets it. Devlin tries to pull him in the ring. Trent kicks him over, gets on top of him, gets him the single leg crab, but he can't really lock it in properly because of the work on his back, and Devlin manages to get to the rope. And then Trent, this is when the end starts building. Trent gets him up, goes to the 7-star lariat. Devlin reverses, hits him with a headbutt, and then Devlin's trying to go for the Devlin side, but Trent holds onto the rope, so kind of the same as to what Devlin was doing. But Trent managed to get back in control. Like, Trent gets his control again, but Devlin kind of so like Trent's holding on but has his control, but Devlin manages to pull Trent off. It looks like he's going for a Devlin side, but he hits an Emerald Flosion, I believe. Wait, have I got that wrong? No, actually it's the other way around. Yeah, no, sorry. Trent pulls Devlin up, and hits a 7-star lariat, but only gets a 2 count. And then I think Trent goes for a burning hammer afterwards, but that's reversed, and Devlin hits an Emerald Flosion, but that's a 2 count. Bloody hell, there's so much going on at this. Devlin goes to the top rope, but he's too slow, and Trent chops him in the back of the leg. And this was amazing. Top rope moves terrify me, but they're amazing. So Trent gets up behind Devlin and hits him with a top rope snapdragon, which I was like, oh my god. Then Trent gets him up, hits a burning hammer, but he takes a little bit too long to make the cover. Hooks the inner leg of Devlin. 2.5, Devlin puts his leg under the rope, and it's like, oh, man. And so Devlin climbs back up, holding the ropes. Trent's holding his wrist, trying to pull him out for a for the 7-star lariat, but he can't. And like, the ref's like, you can't hold on to him, he's holding the rope. So the ref's trying to push away Trent, which gives Devlin the opportunity to turn around, like fingers to the eye, but like not like a boop like Randy Orton does, like gouging his eyes. This distracts Trent. Trent's like on the ground. Devlin gets him up, hits the Devlin side. It's like 3 count, no, it's a 2, and it's like, oh my god, is Trent actually going to pull this off? But Trent's on the ground. He's crawling. Devlin goes to the top rope, hits a 450 splash off the top rope onto Trent's back, which has been worked over. 3 count. Devlin kind of pulls Trent's hand as he's pinning him to ensure that he doesn't grab the rope. 1, 2, 3. Devlin retains. Kind of what I was expecting, like Devlin to retain, because they've built this story with him and Escobar. But honestly, like, amazing match. Great, brilliant match. Like, I don't know if Trent actually hit 204.25, but he was moving fast. He was playing well. I mean, it feels like there's not enough belts in NXT UK for the amount of talent they have. I know they got the Heritage Cup, and they got such a big roster. I kind of want. It's that thing where it's like you don't want too many belts because it devalues the belts, but also I want everyone. I want Devlin to have a belt. I want Walter to hold that NXT UK title forever. I want Trenty to have some sort of belt. I want Tyler Bate to get a belt. I'm a sucker for the baby faces in NXT UK, as you can tell. I want Maiko Satomura to have a belt again. Sucker for the faces. I want Ginny to have a belt. She's actually pretty fun. And I've been like, it would be cool to see Ginny kind of being that, like, what Stone Cold calls a chicken shit heel. It would be interesting to have that. We're back with another NXT UK review. Let's get right into the action, just like NXT UK did today, with a Supernova Sessions with Noam Dar and Trent Seven. My internet was kind of bugging out at this point, but I kind of got the gist. Was Noam Dar was really annoyed with Trent Seven because it was like, how come you got a cruiserweight title shot and I didn't? And he called him an outsider, and then Trent took offense to this. Trent was like, I'm not an outsider, mate. I was one of the founding fathers of NXT UK. They've really been pushing Trent Seven as a founding father of NXT UK. Kind of makes sense though, and it's kind of like his place because obviously he doesn't have a title, so he's like the founding father. And so Trent's like, oh, and then Shah Samuels comes out and he's like, don't start on Noam Dar. And it was actually pretty funny. He called him, he said, shut up, you tart. And that was amazing. That was, other than the main event, the highlight of the show for me, just because that line was so good. And Trent was like, yeah, well, as you got Shah Samuels in your corner, I'm going to be in Tyler Bates' corner in 2 weeks' time, the Heritage Cup rules match at NXT UK Prelude, which we found out because of NXT Prime is time travel, because they don't really talk about NXT UK being pre-filmed. So it's like Walter's going to be in NXT and then the next night be at NXT UK, and like, I mean, logistically that'd be pretty hard, but you know, Walter can time travel. But anyway, then we have a video pack. That was fun. I was like, it's nice to have Trent doing something. Then we have a like a backstage thing with Slimy Sid Scala, and he's just like, Ginny, you can't be at the Joseph Connors Jack Star match. And she's like, no. I said, well, Johnny Saint said so. And then, yeah. Afterwards, they had a nice video package of Walter and Rampage Brown, and I think they realised, oh, we need to build this in 3 weeks' time with probably Walter not being here for some of that. So they did a really nice video package. They got some British legends. They got Finlay, Robbie Brookside, William Regal, and Dave Taylor to all like talk about the match and hype it up. So just because they're like, okay, we really need to build the hype, we need to try and make it believable that Walter might lose. He won't. Walter's gonna have a Bruno run, okay? Walter is the new Bruno. So then we get to our first match of the night, the Jack Stars versus Joseph Connors. So this match was a lot of technical wrestling and Joseph Connors overpowering Jack Star. I mean, I'm just gonna hit the points in the match. So it starts off with a lot of pinning combinations. The two are kind of showing the technical moveset. I think for the most part Connors is a little bit on top. Then Jack Stars manages to get Connors outside, jumps over the top rope, takes him out, but can only get two. Connors is this really cool, well, Stars throws Connors in the corner. Stars is running, and Connors uses the leverage of the corner and just stomps straight down on Stars. That was really cool. But yeah, for the rest of the match, Connors is working over Jack Stars' backbreakers, and he does a really, it's not a back move, but a really cool wrist control clothesline. Really good stuff. But like again, Jack Stars has a little bit of a fight back. He reverses a suplex, but he only gets the 2 count. and then Stars goes for a roll through on Connors, but Connors reverses it, hits a wicked DDT, and then hits a, I think I looked up, it was like a reverse STO. I think he calls it the DLD. At least that's what it said on like the wrestling wiki. So he hit that for the 3 count. So Connors wins. It's nice to see Connors getting a win. I mean, when I used to watch NXT UK initially, he was losing wrestler, but you know, he's getting wins. I like his new attitude. Then we had a Pretty Deadly promo. This is my first Pretty Deadly promo I've experienced. Very Tory is the gimmick, but they had a couple of good lines. I've forgotten the names, but the blonde guy was like, yeah, he was saying something about his mum, and the guy with brown hair was like, yeah, I never liked her. And the blonde guy just looking at him as the guy with the brown hair continues with the promo. That was actually really funny. I actually like their dynamic. It'll be, I mean, they're gonna win. They're just saying, oh, we've got a tag team match next week against Kenny Williams and Amir Jordan, which Kenny Williams and Amir Jordan are gonna lose, so then they can have a feud. But I'll be interested to see Pretty Deadly actually have a match, like be my first Pretty Deadly match. Then we have a Piper Niven and Jack Stars backstage, just her being like, listen Jack, you may have lost, but you're not bad, and you know, very cute. I don't know how I feel about these like backstage things. I think it's just like the stuff they show when you're watching on the network because they're not showing it on BT Sports. That's what I think those filler parts are, so they can fill the hour and 5 minutes, because obviously there'll be breaks for BT Sports. Afterwards, we had what I initially thought was going to be like a squash match, but it wasn't as much. You had Josh Morrell and Danny, I think it's Josh Morrell. So, or Josh Morey? I think I've got Josh Morey written down, but I think it's Josh Morrell. I'm sorry, I'll check. And Danny Jones against Tyson T-Bone and Primate with, God, what's his name? It's not Ed Edwards. He's in AEW. God, I'm sorry, I forgot. Leading them to the ring. And this was basically to showcase Tyson T-Bone, who is jacked to the gills, and Primate's dominance. Although, kind of the match I thought would be over quick with them squashing the two, let's call them enhancement talents. But actually, one of the guys, I think Josh Morrell, got some good offense in, and even Danny Jones got some in, and I'm like, yo, like the Josh Morrell guy, he kind of gave me shades of Paul London, if you remember him, from years ago. Like, I think he might still be wrestling, but yeah, I was like, yo, I thought Tyson T-Bone and Primate were supposed to like squash these guys, but they didn't struggle. They were in control for like 85% of the match, but like some of the stuff these two guys were pulling off was impressive. But then even with some shenanigans, Primate and Tyson T-Bone won the match, but I was kind of like, I thought this would have been a more comprehensive win, which, I mean, it's kind of good. I don't know if these two guys are signed to NXT UK. If they are, it makes sense. You're trying to like slowly introduce people, which is what they're doing in this next match as well. Actually, no. Quickly, Kenny Williams and Amir Jordan promo. Again, it feels like something that wouldn't make the BT cut, but is on the network, because it's a bit awkward. But yeah, they're going back to the introducing people. Aaliyah James, who Nigel and the other guy, whose name I forgot. Oh, God, what's his name? Andrew, maybe? Andy, were introducing her, and they were like, she's new, she's fresh, she's like a hot new signing, and they were like, oh, the BBC did an article on her road to WWE. So, oh, okay. And she was against Isla Dawn, you know, witchcraft Isla Dawn. So this was a little bit more what I expected the other match to be, where Aaliyah James got a little bit of offense in. She got this really cool, she like, Isla Dawn Irish whips into the ropes, and like she like launches herself, springs off the second rope, and I thought impressive enough would have been a clothesline, but she springs off it and hits a drop kick to Isla Dawn's midsection. I'm like, that is amazing. And she also hits a like a third rope springboard crossbody, which is cool as well. But the story of the match was Isla Dawn, who has come back after losing to Meiko Satomura, is like she was aggressive. She was hitting hard. She was laying in with punches and forearms, and eventually she gets the win with a bridging dragon suplex, which was sick. And then and she was like, I don't know, this is kind of scary. Like, she looks like Scary Strong. We'll come back to her in a moment, because we had a very brief last look, what I hope is the last of these vignettes, with Xia Brookside, got her name right this time, and Nina Samuels. This one was a little bit more fun than last week's. I think it didn't go on as long. They had some like fun jaunty music, because Xia Brookside was like, it's the last thing I need you to do, and it's clean the gents bathroom. And like, it was like comically messy. It wasn't dirty, it was messy, and I'm like, okay, haha, that's funny. But yeah, I mean, it was better than last week's one, so that's what I can say on it. But then we go back to a backstage of like Isla Dawn being a little bit. It feels like it's like she's playing, or she's being possessed by the spirits and stuff. I don't know a lot about the Wiccan faith, so I can't really speak to it. But Kaylee Ray comes in with a title, and she's like, if you had shown this when you first came to NXT UK, maybe you'd be in my position. And then Isla Dawn just like stares at her, and then they do these weird like cuts and fades and zooms on her as Kaylee Ray walks away. It obviously probably setting up Isla Dawn to be her next challenger, or like one after next. I don't think they really have anyone for Kaylee Ray at the moment, so it'll probably be Isla Dawn next. Maybe if they're looking for like more of like a super strong, supernatural feeling type champion. I don't know how that kind of fits with the women's division at the moment at UK though, so, or maybe it'll be something for Kate, or maybe they'll go back and forth for the title, if obviously Isla Dawn is the next contender. And then now this has been a pretty short episode. Ilya Dragunov versus Sam Gradwell. I was gonna make these notes like all the other ones I've done today, so more bullet pointy and shorter, snappier. This match, man, this match hurt to, like, it wasn't like hardcore death match, but it was hard hitting. So the no DQ match, Sam Gradwell kind of talked himself up to Ilya Dragunov, has been picking on him, and it's like Soviet baby and all that stuff. So this match, okay, I'm gonna just read out my notes because I don't think I could do it justice without it. I'm just gonna hit the points that were like, oh my god. But of the matches this week, this one is definitely worth a watch. It was about 25 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes, I'd say, because there's a little bit of recaps at the end, and yeah. But also watch the intros, watch the entrances, because Gradwell comes out first. Ilya comes out, he gets in the ring, Gradwell throws his jacket at him and starts punching Ilya. Ilya fights back, throws Gradwell outside. Actually no, Gradwell rolls outside, he gets a chair, Ilya reverses it, grabs the chair, he's going to hit him, but then he throws it to the side and starts beating him up. This is the story for the first, probably for most of the match, to be honest. Ilya doesn't actually use weapons, but Gradwell does. So they're fighting on the outside. Actually, no, they come inside again. Ilya doesn't use a weapon. He gets a David Constantine special, which is really cool. And then Gradwell like escapes Ilya. Ilya's on the top rope, and then Gradwell like jumps across to the corner, and Ilya's like, okay, and then just hits a coast to coast, which is sick. And then Gradwell rolls outside. Ilya goes out. He runs to punch Gradwell. Gradwell gets the bell and whacks Ilya on the arm. And it's like, oh my god, it's like good sound design. Probably it sounded like it hurt a lot. And then Gradwell takes control. He gets what looks like TV cables, starts whipping Ilya, which is like, and then starts choking him in the mouth and like pulls him down, like whiplash the back of his head. Ouch. And then they get back inside. Gradwell goes to the pin, doesn't get it. Gradwell takes off the turnbuckle cover in the corner, and throws it and tries to drive Ilya into it. Ilya reverses. They go onto the top rope. Like, Ilya reverses it and climbs to the top rope. Gradwell climbs up with him. Ilya pushes him down, and Ilya looks like he's going to jump. But smart. I've never seen this before. But Gradwell grabs the turnbuckle cover and throws it at Ilya, and then he like kicks him off the top rope, which I've never seen anyone use the turnbuckle cover. That's so smart. Never seen that in all my years. And so Ilya's standing on the apron corner. Gradwell runs in. Look, I think he hits a big forearm. Ilya just jumps. It looks like he kind of looks like an oversell. Like he like leaps and hits the barricade. And then Gradwell comes out, tries to hit Ilya with a chair, misses. Like, I believe he tries to hit. No, this is later. He tries to hit Ilya with the chair. Ilya reverses, has the chair. He's begging him not to. Okay, and then Ilya doesn't use the chair. Ilya doesn't use the chair. Gradwell gets the chair, goes to hit Ilya. Ilya reverses it, like does a bridge and reverses it and takes out Gradwell. And then he gets the stairs. And he's gonna whack Gradwell with them. Gradwell's like, no, don't hit me. Ilya puts them down. Gradwell clobbers him with the chair, which is insane. Ilya gets the advantage again, and like he stood over Gradwell with the chair again, and Gradwell's like, please, I'm sorry, I have a son. Ilya isn't really having it, but he hesitates. Gradwell low blows him, and then Gradwell kind of then gets Ilya in a fireman's carry position, and for lack of a better term, I don't know if it's a Death Valley slam, but an attitude adjustment onto the stairs, and Ilya's like, my back, and I'm like, oh my god, like he was really selling it. So then Gradwell rolls Ilya in, then Gradwell throws a bunch of chairs into the ring, and like Gradwell's, I think he Gradwell just throws him into the ring, but Ilya gets up. He throws Gradwell into the ring, into the turnbuckles, the exposed one, and then hits a backbreaker, and Gradwell like rolls and lands on the chairs. And so Ilya gets on the top rope, and he's like, oh my god, he's gonna hit him, he's gonna top rope move him, goes for a back senton and misses and lands on his back, and Gradwell's back in control. So then Gradwell gets Ilya in the corner, and Ilya's like, he's facing the turnbuckle, and he's like, his back is hurt. Gradwell's going to chop it. He's like, oh no, that's gonna set Ilya off. So then he turns Ilya around, slaps him on the chops him like on the chest / face. Then Ilya's like trying to reverse. He turns, and Gradwell accidentally chops him on the back. And obviously this is what sets Ilya off, because of it's like the whole thing with Walter, and obviously it's the long-term storytelling, which is great, because he snaps, and he just bullies, like he kicks the shit out of Gradwell. Like he gets on the ground and just kicks the fucking daylights out of his head, grabs a chair and absolutely wails on Gradwell, just absolutely destroys his back. Gets him up. I don't exactly know what the move is. It might be Ilya's finisher, but he hits like a power body slam onto the chairs, and so okay, he's gonna pin him. No, he doesn't. He gets on top of him and starts wailing away with forearms, and the ref has to stop the match, which I think is even better than pinning Gradwell. Like Gradwell looks like he's not knocked out. He's not, but he looks like it. And so it's like, and this time Ilya doesn't show remorse. He just keeps on going and going, and he sat on Gradwell looking down at him. It's like, talk more, say more, talk more shit. Ilya doesn't feel remorse for this. He gets on the top rope, not celebrating, but he's like, fuck you, It's just that that's what he's exuding, like, I'm Ilya Dragunov. And it was like, oh, okay, this is the next step for Ilya. He's either going to embrace this new Ilya, which will be the next probable step for him to go on to face Walter. Probably be him taking the title from Walter. I know they have plans for a pay-per-view in Dublin the day after all lockdown restrictions end in the UK. I don't know how that bodes for Ireland and Dublin. Don't know what Ireland's plans are, but in the UK it's the day after. So I don't know. But yeah, it's really setting up Ilya to be this dominant force, and obviously with Walter doing more and more in the US, obviously he's got a match with Ciampa. I think it's going to be when Walter drops the belt. It'll be June. He'll drop it, and then maybe he'll get one rematch against Ilya, and then he'll probably, maybe not full time in the US, but dabble in the US. So yeah, this week I definitely recommend the Ilya match.